back to the Can't Teach Taste podcast with your boys Matt Ghanem and Todd Tomlinson. What's good, man?
What up, bro? How are you?
I'm good, bro. You see this Kenny Pickett Pitt jersey, 150th season, ACC. Let's go.
Repping hard. For those that don't know, our boy Matt went to Pitt, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, #1 Raiders fan in the game. So, Pickett, is he the savior?
I can tell you he's better than Geno Smith, and we're going to do an exercise later or in a minute that we can talk about who the worst quarterbacks in the NFL are. Went to Pitt, had a class with Larry Fitzgerald. My last year was his last year. Or no, his last year was the year after my last year. But it was his first year. It was like some computer programming class or something like that. But nicest guy on the planet. Hail to Pitt.
Did he go to class? You showed up today?
Fitz, man. He's a nice guy, man. I could get into the story.
I thought you meant Pickett. I thought you meant Kenny Pickett. So no, Fitz was in your class.
Kenny Pickett's 25, bro.
I don't know. Man. I'm not trying to. Was he trying to put you out there, bro?
Your boy's north of 40 these days, bro. Your boy's north of 40 these days. So I can tell you the story one day about how Larry Fitzgerald ended up going to Pitt, which makes no sense. But anyway, so back to Sunday. Geno Smith, horrible. 13 of 21, 116 yards and a touchdown in 3+ quarters. Not dynamic, can't move, statue in the pocket, arm looks just cooked. Everything's cooked about him. And he gets hit, and something happens with his hands, like his hand starts bleeding. It's on third down. Actually, no, this one was on second down. So Kenny Pickett comes in the game with it's third and goal from like the 7. Which is about as bad a situation as you could come into. Throws 2 incomplete passes. They had to go for it. They were down 17 at the time against Denver. So next drive, because Geno Smith came in, hurt his hand. He was questionable to return to the game. But, of course, Pete Carroll hates everything non-Geno Smith. So he puts him back in, gets hit again. Now he has a shoulder injury. So he's out. And that's when Kenny Pickett comes back in. So this is like beginning of the fourth quarter. The next drive, or they were down 10. The next drive that the Denver Broncos had was a 9-minute long drive with probably 20 plays. Ate the whole quarter up. All I want to do is see a 3 and out. Every third down, they converted all of them. I'm just like at the edge of my seat, like let this dude actually play a couple drives, right? Because Geno Smith or Pete Carroll doesn't want to play him, so he has to play him now. So, they score a touchdown, so they go down 17. Remember, Geno Smith, 3 quarters, 7 points. First drive, my boy comes in, dynamic. He gets sacked on the second play, but dynamic, can move. Third down and 5, gets a 6-yard sneak, slides, right? I mean, he's, moving out of the pocket, moving in the pocket, arms live. Throws a 30-yard touchdown pass to Bo Jackson's nephew, who I didn't even know was on the team, dude's first career touchdown. Either. I never heard of him. And Alan, if you can, cue that clip because he throws it. He has a corner on him, and then there's a safety in the middle of the field. He throws it right in between it. It was almost a 30-yard in the air pass. Geno Smith's longest pass of the game was 16 yards. Not in the air, period. Reception, right? So this dude's completing passes past 30 yards, obviously, or past 16 yards. Obviously, it's prevent defense. Then the next drive, there's almost no time left. He gets a couple first downs, gets like a 25-yard pass out of the pocket. And Pete Carroll, of course, because he probably doesn't want Kenny Pickett to score 2 touchdowns, he kicks a field goal.
That was hilarious.
As time expires, which who does that? It's not like there's no time
for spread. You can cover the spread, bro.
And the Dave Portnoy lost his mind. Said
people were pissed.
Put the NFL in jail.
It was weird. It was weird. Why kick the field goal that does nothing for you, obviously. So
what it does is it allows Kenny Pickett to only be 8 of 11 with 97 yards and a touchdown. It doesn't allow him to be 9 of 12 for, 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. We don't want that.
It's so strange to me that there's Geno's still the quarterback there. I don't know why. I mean, at this point, as bad as he's played, any other team would make a quarterback change just to see. It's I don't know. It's malpractice to keep having Geno out there. His decline from last year is just bizarre. It's so bad. I don't know. You can look at the offensive coordinator. You have to look at Geno. You have to look at Pete Carroll. But just all around, it's so fucking bad. So I don't know. They just need to name Kenny Pickett the starter. Obviously, as you're going into the last couple games of the year, if you're the Raiders, you need to know if you need a quarterback next year or not. Right. So see what you have in Kenny Pickett, right? Maybe if you have a high draft pick, you can use it on something else if you think Kenny Pickett could be a serviceable or pretty good quarterback for you. So, I don't get it. Hopefully Kenny Pickett does start next week. I'd love to see what he can do.
Post too, man. They said that Geno's most likely not going to start and Kenny's going to start, which is why I got the jersey on.
Uh-huh.
He's cooking. Just a little bit of life, man. Like anything that brings a little bit of life, and you can just see it. Like there was a little bit of like excitement, just a little bit. And to your point, right? Maybe Kenny Pickett's. I hope he starts for 10 more years. He probably won't, but maybe he's someone that if you draft, one of these high draft pick quarterbacks in the top 3, like you can start this dude, and he's been in the league for 5 years, right?
Yep.
And also he's playing this week at Philly, and Philly dogged him out pretty good. He won the Super Bowl there actually as the 3rd string, maybe. No, he was the backup to Jalen Hurts actually.
Mm-hmm.
We have a bet between him that we made like 5 years ago, between him and I think we talked about this, between him and Dak, who's going to win the most playoff games. And all I wanted Jalen Hurts to do was get hurt in the first round of the playoffs. I was like, this Eagles team's so good, he'll win a couple, right? Because he'll run the ball, they'll run. And that was when Saquon Barkley was out of his mind, So didn't
That's
happen.
another story. Jalen Hurts is another story.
So it's a revenge game. This guy's playing for his career. If he goes out, throws 3 picks, the Raiders get mashed, dude, that might be the end of his career in the NFL. So he's playing for his career. I'm excited. I can't wait for 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time on Sunday. I haven't been excited.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. You're excited now.
I haven't been excited for a Raiders game in maybe since like 2016 when Derek Carr broke his back in the last game of the season on Christmas Day, or second to last game. It's been a long time. And I think this dude's better than Geno Smith. I think Geno Smith's bad. I think the offensive line's bad, so it's really hard. But if you have a guy that can't move and the offensive line's bad and you keep calling the same plays, they fired Chip Kelly, and the rumor was Pete Carroll was like interfering and, whatever. He won't. And first of all, like anyone that sticks with Geno Smith and you're 2-11 and he's hurt and you're down 10, you have 7 points all game, you're not going to come back and beat Denver. Like, why wouldn't you take him out? Put in Aiden O'Connell, who got hurt for the season and training camp just came back. Who cares? But anyways, 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, revenge game. I think the Eagles are favored by like 11.5 points, man. This dude goes out there. You never know, man. We saw Justin Herbert do it, so maybe.
Sucks. So you guys have a chance. Hurts is Justin Fields.
He's pretty much Geno Smith that can run. He's bad.
Yeah, he's so bad.
He's the first player in NFL history to turn the ball over twice on the same play.
That was hilarious, by the way.
It's fucking amazing. Bad, dude. We were sitting at the bar, so we're like watching the game, but like there's no sound, So we're at a decent restaurant sitting at the bar, and like I'm watching, and my wife's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "You just keep laughing." I'm like, every time Jalen Hurts drops back to pass, he throws a pick. That was horrible. And then he picks the fumble up and fumbles it. It was unbelievable. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, trouble.
But enough about the GOAT Kenny Pickett. Hopefully he, earns at least one more start and they don't play Geno Smith again. Like, at least don't play him again. You know what I mean? So, interesting thing happened this week. Obviously, Daniel Jones tears his Achilles. The Colts backup might be worse than the Jets backup, who was awful. Right? Fucking
awful. Hate to see it. Daniel Jones.
I don't even know what that guy's name was. Was Dylan Cook?
No, Brady Cook.
He's trash. I don't know what the Colts backup quarterback guy. That guy's horrible. So
Riley Leonard out of Notre Dame. And look, the Jets. I don't like to see anybody get hurt, but the Jets do own the next 2 first-round picks from the Colts and the Sauce Gardner trade. So this helps us. Sorry,
it's huge and
huge.
Well,
amazing.
So there was a Barstool video that I saw today, which inspired this exercise that we're going to do. And they went around to like all the people in the office, like they didn't know they were going to ask them. They had the phone out and they were like, how many quarterbacks in the NFL is 44-year-old Phillip Rivers better than?
Ooh, fuck.
So I have a list of mine, and I don't know if I have them all, but I mean, this guy hasn't played since COVID.
Yeah, it's going to be wild to see how this guy looks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just surprised you don't make a call on like Joe Flacco or try to do something like that first. Anything. I mean,
dude, is this the best guy that's not on a team?
I
better than anyone on a practice squad somewhere?
I don't know.
Obviously, look,
Joe Flacco should be like, "Hey, release me." Yeah, I mean, you're not going to play me. Release me, and then
somebody with higher waiver could take him.
Yeah, yeah.
But, I mean, dude, look. Here's the thing. Like, I watch a lot of Colts games because I have Tyler Warren, who they forgot about, is on the team. I went to a Colts game in Indianapolis this year. They don't have any holes on offense, and Daniel Jones has been kind of falling apart anyways. And this backup, goddamn, that guy was. I mean, it was painful to watch. For anyone out there that has Colts on their team, Alec Pierce is the only person he threw the ball to. I think he had 4 or 5 targets out of his 8 once whoever this dude is came in, and I can't start him. I can't play him this week. I have a must-win game. I might play Darren Waller over Tyler Warren. I don't know what Philip Rivers is going to do. What I'm going to say is defense is good, offensive line's good, skill players are good. You have Jonathan Taylor, which the worst thing they did was kept handing the ball to Jonathan Taylor because all that did was, 2nd and 9, 3rd and 8, blitz. Great sight, right? Yeah. So, but at least he can look at defense and kind of know what's going to happen because the guy couldn't. He's going to be better than that guy, but I don't know. I mean, what if he comes out and fucking throws 2 touchdown passes and wins a game? I can't, right?
I don't know. I just don't. I mean, the guy, like, if you remember Philip Rivers at the end of his career, he was a stack shoe anyway. He was never really an overly mobile quarterback. I wonder if his arm is still pretty live. Yeah, they do have the offensive line is solid, so they might feel good about that. But you can't run the same offense that you do with Daniel Jones because you have the threat of running the ball. But you do need somebody that can fucking throw the ball, obviously. So you throw the ball, loosen up the defense. Obviously, you give Jonathan Taylor the ball, and it gives him more opportunities in the run game. So I was trying to rack my brain. There's got to be. You don't even know how Philip Rivers looks. Like, there's got to be somebody.
Anything like this before? I don't think we have.
I don't know, man. It's gonna. I don't know. I'm gonna be intrigued to see, him play. It's wild.
Yeah,
it's wild.
So I'm gonna say, Philip Rivers is better than Geno Smith.
Oh,
Will Levis, whoever the hell that Colts backup was. All 3 of the Jets quarterbacks, all of them, every one.
Oh, I don't know if he's better than Tyrod Taylor. You think he's better than Tyrod Taylor right now? Tyrod Taylor can't stay healthy, but I'll let you keep going.
Yeah.
Justin Fields.
I just wanted to say that he's definitely better than the dude.
Brady Cook and Justin Fields.
To work at a gas station. Tyler Show on New Orleans, although he did have 2 rushing touchdowns, which were dope.
Yeah, he's looking okay. He's looking better.
I mean,
okay. All right.
Dylan Gabriel, I said that. Both of the Vikings quarterbacks, J.J. McCarthy and Max, whatever the heck his name is.
Mm-hmm.
No.
McCarthy did play well, finally. He finally had a good game, but he's been as bad as you can be, and that backup was...
And Cam Ward. He's probably better than Cam Ward, too.
What? You think he's better than Cam Ward?
I don't
know.
I
think Cam Ward's a victim of just one of the worst rosters I've seen in a long time.
Right now.
We're going to find out, though. We're going to find out. I think Philip...
We're going to find out because we know what Cam Ward would look like because we've seen him for 13 games.
With a terrible offensive line and not really good players around him. Maybe if you had a good line and Jonathan Taylor, you'd look a lot better.
What I will say, too, is Shadur's looked better, but both of those games are against the fucking worst teams on the planet, the Raiders with Geno Smith and obviously Cam Ward's Titans, who they lost to. Even though he played well, had 300 yards, etc.
He did.
Gabriel couldn't do, I don't think. But don't get fooled. Don't get fooled. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. I think he's the best option they have right now. It's silly that it took him so long to but again, just like with other teams, see what you have in Shadur. He should definitely, without a doubt, obviously start the rest of the year. You see what you have with them, and then if you need to draft a quarterback or try to draft a quarterback again next year.
A lot.
So, yeah. So, I mean, but, Shadur, obviously you can only play against who's in front of you. You played well last week. But to your point, it's not like he was playing it wasn't a Broncos or a Texans defense that he's playing last week. So, we'll see. But there's no reason to see Dylan Gabriel again. You know what you have in him. More upside with Shadur. Let's see. So that's an interesting storyline the rest of the year, right? And then, you got fucking Deshaun Watson, who
he's better than Deshaun Watson, maybe too. I don't know.
Yeah,
but Deshaun Watson, they said Deshaun Watson will compete for a starting job next year already. So I wonder, maybe they'll draft someone. Maybe it depends on what Shadur does. If Shadur plays, if he can win one more game and look decent, maybe you don't draft someone at the beginning. But if he looks terrible, like he should, then maybe you get someone and you say, all right, you 3 get at it, and maybe you trade the one that's the worst. So there's that. Is there anyone you think that I didn't mention or, that Philip Rivers could be better than right now, starting this week?
I don't think so. Obviously, there's a ton of backups he's better than. I'm just trying to think of people who actually started. or have
People who
started.
we've seen play in any,
Yeah, people who we've seen play. I think their hope is that they get Phillip Rivers to be just almost as comparable as like a Kirk Cousins at this point. Someone who can still throw the ball a little bit. They're not going to
has
be
an
mobile.
arm, man. I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
That's what they're hoping. Obviously, is to have somebody like that, or like a Joe Flacco type. Those guys can't move, but again, they have a great offensive line, so they should be okay. But I think you nailed it. I would disagree with some of yours, obviously, but we'll see. I haven't seen him in so long. The last version of Phillip Rivers is better than a lot of the people that you said for sure. But man, what's he been doing? The guy's got 15 kids. I wonder what he's been doing. Like,
he has one baby mom though, which is kind of impressive to have that many kids.
Yeah, good for you, man. Yeah, but that's wild. He's not on some Tyreek Hill or Antonio Cromartie. But yeah, I wonder what he's been up to, man. If he's been staying active,
they said he stayed in game shape, man. We'll see.
Preparing for this moment.
How good would Tom Brady be if they called him and he came and took them deep in the playoffs or somehow won something? How crazy would that be? What if Phillip Rivers does? What if Phillip Rivers sneaks in the playoffs and wins a playoff game, man?
Yeah, I mean,
they could.
They could. I mean, they've already won so many games. They just needs to win, a couple more in order to get in there. So, fuck, who knows?
We'll pull up their schedule real quick.
They got Texans.
They're at Seattle on Sunday.
Ooh, and they have the Niners too. I know that.
They're home against the Niners, home against the Jags, and at the Texans. That's 4 tough ones, man.
Those are tough ones, man. Those are all playoff. They're right there. So that Texans defense is no joke. The Niners are going to be tough.
So Colts are 8-3. Colts are 8-3. 1 game probably doesn't get them in. 2 games does though, for sure.
Yeah, I hope they lose all of them because we need the best draft pick that we can get.
Todd's rooting.
At this point,
to be as bad as Max Brosmer.
Yeah, fuck yeah. The Jets. I was for all y'all out there. I was in the house at MetLife Stadium on Sunday to see that debacle. I was sitting there with my dad. I did the math. I've been to 8 straight Jets losses, all in MetLife. So I've flown to New York 8 straight times. I've seen 8 straight losses. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I don't even know what to say anymore. Tyrod Taylor, when he does play, he's decent. The guy's made of absolute glass. You got to get rid of him too. You can't rely on the guy. So, we have the ammo to do it. We'll see what we do. I'm not going to talk about the Jets because they're not worth talking about, at this point. But it seems like Fernando Mendoza is the consensus number 1 quarterback in this draft, and then Dante Moore. Mendoza, by the way, I don't know if you saw the interview with him after they won the championship game. He is. Someone said he makes Russell Wilson look like Tupac. That boy is. Alan, cue the clip of my guy's post-game interview.
It's wild.
He wild. Talk about nerdy.
I don't know. I don't know how that goes in an NFL locker room, man.
I don't either. That was my worry. It's like
I don't know, dude. That's too much.
I want a dog, but it was way too much, and that's my worry. Like, you got to do a deep dive on this guy to see if he can lead men into battle. But hey, he's doing it now, so we'll see what teams like the Jets and the Raiders do.
Though, man.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't know, dude. The NFL locker room probably looks a little bit different than that, but dude, we'll transition a little bit to hoops, and I'm gonna give you some bars from. Maybe the best player, probably the best player in the NBA, the second leading scorer. How can I go back and forth if I'm not back and forths? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playing 12 out of 23 fourth quarters while averaging 33 points a game.
Yes, 32.8.
And that's a bar right there.
That is a bar. And I love that. And, we talked about it. At this point, give him the MVP. If he keeps playing like this, they're 23-1. He's the best player on the best team.
Just came back. It's
by a mile.
You don't need to rest anyone. They're trouble. The Warriors almost beat him with nobody. We're going to get to that in a second because my guy came in and hooped. But they're not going to lose games, man. And I think Kendrick Perkins, who's sometimes his takes kill me, said, "Oh well, my gut tells me they're going 80-2," and I'm just like, bro, they're not going 80-2.
They're not going 80-2. There's going to be some nights.
But they very well may beat 73.
They might. They don't have any weaknesses, man. They just don't. And their defensive efficiency is wild. You have just an elite number one and get you bucket anytime. Yeah, a lot of guys that can score. Their only, I guess, perceived weakness, if you have to dig a little bit, is their 3-point shooting. Like in the playoffs last year, they shot 33.8%, which isn't great. They're shooting more like close to 35 right now. But I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Maybe
Shai,
most importantly, though, I mean, this dude's shooting. Isn't he shooting over 40% now?
Shai is shooting 55.6%.
No, I'm saying from three.
Oh yeah, so
I think he's shooting over 40 or at 40, and he's historically at 35. And that guy in that Warriors game, when they came back, and I was like, they're going to win this game. I mean, dude, he came in, step back three. Like, he actually scored a couple buckets without getting fouled and pushing off. And it was just like, and the shot is so pure, man. It's just like, if that dude played the right way, he would still score 30 points a game. I don't know why he pushes off. It really bugs me, but he's a bucket. And also, in that same breath, Jokic 29, 12, and 11 is crazy.
Crazy.
I mean, that's not reasonable to
that's the only
NBA in assists as a 7-footer.
That's the only potential threat to the OKC Thunder, right? And you look at the OKC Thunder, you say, oh, maybe they rely too heavy on Shai offensively, but they didn't have him the other night. They still beat the Jazz by 30. They still got people that can score. With Denver, I think that's the only team. And, with Denver, it's just about being healthy. When they've had Aaron Gordon this year, they're 10-2, right? He's obviously nursing that grade 2 hamstring strain. But if you have Aaron Gordon healthy, they hardly lose. You can still make the argument for Jokic being the best player in the NBA if it's not Shai. And then Jamal Murray has had some monster games the last couple of weeks.
50-piece.
Christian Brown, if he continues to improve, and I think Gordon is the key. If he can stay healthy, I really think that Denver could create a little bit of issues for OKC, but obviously a long way to go. But I think that's the only reasonable threat.
There was someone that said the Celtics could be a threat also, depending on what Tatum looks like when he comes back. I don't know if that's possible because they got rid of Drew Holiday and Kristaps, so I don't think so. But I mean, they could win the East, man, because they're better than I thought they would be without Tatum.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, coming back from that Achilles, I think it's going to take some time. I don't know. I think I think it'll be tough. Obviously, Jaylen Brown and Derek White are great players, and
Jaylen Brown's hooping,
they got players, and yeah, I think honestly too, like you got to look at it like this, and you're kind of seeing it with the Heat to an extent with Tyler Hero coming back. You got this cohesiveness, and they're playing well right now, and then players are stepping into these roles for most of the year. Then you bring Tatum back, who's such a big piece. You got to kind of adjust again. So it'll be interesting. They could do it seamlessly, yeah. But you see what happened. Tyler Hero's coming back, and it's affecting Jaime Jaquez, and they look better without him. Not that the Celtics are going to look better without him, but they're getting Anthony Simons. They're getting into these roles, and they're playing well. Then you're going to incorporate Tatum. That could be kind of tricky later in the season. So we'll have to see how that looks. But yeah, for sure, if he comes back and he's great, they have Celtics still have a ton of talent.
Yeah, man. I agree. And it'll be interesting to see. And obviously Detroit, with all the resources, we'll get into the trade talks later, but they're candidates to land some bangers. So
they are. And they're like, if you look at the most recent power rankings for the NBA, you got the two teams we mentioned, OKC and Denver at 1 and 2. Then you got Detroit at 3. And again, Detroit, they don't have a lot of weaknesses, but the only one it would be is 3-point shooting. They're 19th in the league right now in 3-point shooting efficiency and percentage. And a lot of that is because of what we talked about before. They obviously lost Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley, who are the two main 3-point shooters last year. So, you have to be able to shoot the ball when it comes to playoff time. That would be their only weakness, but I think they're going to make some moves this year and strengthen that core and that team. And I mean, with Cade and those boys, I wouldn't want to play them. So
I don't know why they didn't sign Seth Curry when he was out there. Maybe he was always going to sign with the Warriors, but he walked in and dropped 15 game 1 against OKC. He's cooking.
They need shooting. I still, Detroit. I was curious when they lost Hardaway Jr. and with the whole thing that happened with Malik Beasley. I was interested to see what they would do to solidify more perimeter shooting to surround Cade and Jalen Duren and those guys with, and they didn't really do it. So, we'll see. But I think they'll make some moves. That's a team to look for to make some moves because they can make some noise.
Did you get any insight to why on earth the other team in LA cut Chris Paul at 3 a.m. Disrespectful, dirty to one of their best, one of their greats, one of their best players of all time, just cutting him in the middle of the night, man. What's going on there?
All the buzz, man, is that, he hadn't talked to, he was becoming a distraction. He was questioning everything that the coaching staff and the front office were doing. Apparently he had to talk to Ty Lue in weeks, right? Like 3 weeks, didn't talk to him at all. That's obviously a distraction, and the team being already bad. I think it was just, they had to cut bait. It was just becoming too much of an issue, which is crazy though, because he had this whole like homecoming, Chris Paul's last year, did this press conference, like crying and shit, like, I'm going to end my career as a Clipper, where he had his best years, and then in the middle of the night, you just cut the guy. So I know there was tension between him and Ty Lue, and not talking to a coach for 3 weeks is insanity.
That's what Nurkic did with Budenholzer last year, dude. He wouldn't even look at it.
Yeah, that's wild, right?
It's crazy.
So they're probably thinking, "Hey, man, like this is, we're shitty with you. We can be shitty without you. This is becoming too much of a distraction. You're undermining things, right?" And Chris Paul has power, dude. Like he's been in the league forever. Other players on the team respect him. If he's undermining what the coach is saying or what the front office is doing, you know how it is, man. In any team or business, you got so like, but it's just. It's a bad look. It's a bad look, even though the Clippers might have thought they did this. It's just a bad look for the Clippers, like from a public perspective, right? Chris Paul did so much, and then you just cut him. Maybe it's warranted, but you still, I don't know if there's a better way to do it. So I don't know if it was that.
So they have. Well, real quick, do you see? It was last month. It was a few weeks ago. I guess Klay was actually playing well, and Kawhi was guarding him and getting fried by him, and he was telling Kawhi to switch off and put somebody else on there and shit. And like, even though Ty Lue didn't want him to, he was like, "You're getting cooked. Like, you need to go over here." And I mean, I guess that was probably the end of it. Before we get into the trade stuff, CP's poly market odds: 48% signs with Dallas, 47% signs with your boys, the Lakers, 46% Kings, 45% Rockets, which. He probably needs to go to San Antonio. 19% nowhere. And that's the end of Chris Paul.
I would it depends what matters most to Chris Paul. If he's trying to win a ring, maybe you go to Houston.
Got to go play with KD.
Out of those odds. But he's older. His son is a pretty good high school player out here at Campbell Hall in Southern California. So if he wants to be, a part of that, obviously, and stay in Southern California, then the Lakers make sense.
He's not going to play. He wouldn't play very
You're not going to play. And, I'm not sure he's going to play anywhere, if I'm being honest.
I mean, he's probably not playing over Reed Shepherd, maybe in crunch time.
No. Thompson and stuff like other guards. I just don't think he's that guy anymore. Like, you can play him in spurts, but I don't think he's going to be a key piece. I think what he offers you now is just veteran leadership in the locker room, maybe for some young guys. So, I think that, he's got obviously a crib in LA and his son's out here, and, maybe he does that, or he strides off into the sunset and be like, hey, this is it. I don't see myself winning a championship. This isn't worth it. So I don't know. Again, you sign with the Lakers. It doesn't increase the odds. I don't know if you heard what Rich Paul said, but
real quick before that, someone I know, I think I said this before the season, said CP wanted to finish his career in Phoenix or at the Clippers. Phoenix isn't on there. If he wouldn't play, they got too many guards. I don't think he'd ever see the court. But
with the emergence of Colin Gillespie, you think he wants to play? He could.
Grayson is out of his mind hooping. Did you see that step through that he hit? He hit that runner from like 18 feet.
Yes. I mean, they're playing great, man.
The accountant's feeling himself, and that's a problem. And
the emergence of Gillespie's awesome too. Like that's fucking.
The Suns just won at Minnesota.
Yeah.
I don't think Book played. I don't think Book or Jalen Green played. I think it was Dylan Brooks, Colin Gillespie, and Grayson Allen beating the freaking Timberwolves.
Book's dealing with that groin. Dealing with that groin. Yeah, I mean they're
the biggest surprise of the year, man, by a lot.
He's coaching them up out there, man. I gotta give them credit in what they're doing.
I didn't know who that dude was before this year. He's doing something.
He's doing a great job. But Chris Paul, you could do that. Go where you're comfortable. At this point, I don't know what makes sense.
You don't want to go out like that, though, man. You can't go out like that.
No, you can't. I just don't know. He's not going to be relevant, I think, on any team. As far as playing, obviously.
Yeah. So what does your boy Rich Paul said?
Yeah, basically said the Lakers don't have a chance to win the West or definitely not a championship.
Why would he say that?
He just said that, look, like they're so top heavy with Luka and Austin and the way they play that it's going to be really hard for them to win the playoffs, mainly because, they're easy to defend when it comes to playoff time.
Yeah, you just blitz Luka, blitz AR.
So he's like, with the way they play now, it's good, but, they're so top heavy that they can't really run. That's not their style of play. You need to be able to do that. And they're going to be too easy to defend because you've seen it. Too easy to defend in the playoffs. And they asked him, so, do you think LeBron's going to end the year with the Lakers? And he was like, yeah, where else is he going to go? So,
interesting.
That's real. I would, he's like, yeah, like where else would where would he go? Like what make, and to his point, I don't know if there's anywhere that makes sense or any team that would trade for him at this point in his, in his career. So, but I agree. I think the Lakers, he's doing a really good job, but they don't have enough. And I do agree. I think when the playoffs come and they're able to blitz you and the Lakers can't run with most of these teams, that's not the way they want to play. They're going to have a really hard time winning. So he's right. I mean, that's, he's telling the truth. So it sounds like, LeBron's not going anywhere and the Lakers aren't going anywhere.
So I think is, I read something that said, I didn't see what he said, but it said, it said, I think the Lakers are as sick of clutch sports as they are LeBron James. And he's saying that for a reason, dude. You don't go out there and you're Rich Paul, like you're prominent, you're LeBron's boy, you're, really well known, you rep a million players, like you're just well known. It's like Mav Carter, right? And you're saying that.
Everything's strategic.
You're saying
everything's strategic. Yeah, these guys are smart.
Yeah, dude, he's trying to get them to do something. I don't know what.
You can talk shit about Clutch, Mav Carter, Rich Paul. They're smart as hell. Everything that comes out of their mouths is for a reason. But he's not wrong. He's definitely not wrong. Like if you ask anybody who,
if LeBron's cool, everyone's cool. You don't say that shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. So like, especially if LeBron is your boy, which he is, you're not going to say, my guy, they have no chance.
My team, Steph's trash. They're not going to win. You're not going to say that.
No.
He wants something to happen. He wants a trade. He wants something. He wants a trade. I don't know what. We're going to find out because it's going to happen because there's, 2+ months until.
It's the fucking NBA too, baby. Like, how, like the NBA, it always crazy stuff happens. It's
They're going to learn real quick. Let Luka roll his ankle or pull his hammy and miss a month and see what happens. They'll see that shit. He's 100% right. I've gotten enough conversations with either LeBron stans or Laker fans that think that they can actually beat OKC or Houston. I'm like, dude, you guys can't play defense. It's different in a 7-game series when like you're playing fucking, some team that's resting somebody. They don't give a shit. They're on a back-to-back in freaking November. Luka gets 50, whatever, right? And I'm not saying that he wouldn't get 50 in the playoffs because he might, but they're going to treat those games completely differently. There's going to be rest. It's going to be calculated. There's going to be schemes. And I'm not saying that these teams are going out and not trying. But, I mean, the Warriors don't win 2 games on the road, one without Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, and Jonathan Kuminga, and one without Steph, Draymond, and Jonathan Kuminga. They don't win 2 in a row back-to-back on the road. It would never happen in the playoffs. It just gets smashed, even by the worst team in the playoffs. So, I'll be interested to see. I'm interested that he said that. There's a reason. And it probably is true. And he probably believes it, but usually don't say that. Those guys are doing that shit for a reason.
100%. It's true, but you normally don't say it. There's a reason he said it.
Especially this early in the season.
Yeah.
So what's up with your boy Desmond Bane throwing the ball at OG in the middle of the game? That shit was so crazy.
Funny.
Cue that clip.
Cue that clip, and there's a lip reader who read the lips of OG and Desmond Bane. It was hilarious. Desmond Bane was trying to tell the refs that he was falling out of bounds, so he threw the ball off the back of him when he was just standing there and chucked the ball. And OG's like, "What did you do that for?" And he's like, "I was falling out of bounds." The ref's like, "You were not falling out of bounds." So I don't know. I don't know what's happening there, but that was wild. It was completely unnecessary. And OG was so confused. You could see him. He pushed him. He's like, "What was that for?"
Yeah. Did the Knicks have one person that would fight anyone?
I think you can cue the couple clips of Jordan Clarkson squaring up. I think Jordan Clarkson will square up. I don't know.
There's nobody swinging on anyone there because like you don't.
Mitchell Robinson. I don't think a lot of people. I don't think there's a lot of fighters in the NBA. Obviously, there's that list of folks, right? That we talked about. There's a couple.
One of them that is on the list. I was watching a clip, and Josiah goes, in the middle of this conversation, Kenyon, question for you. And everyone just falls out of their chair because they know what he's about to ask him. You know what I mean? They're like, what would you do if someone did this to you? And he's like, man. And he's not even going to answer. I was dying when he said, Kenyon, question for you.
That's funny. That's funny. We know the answer, Kenyon.
Kenyon's on the list, right? What's Steven Jackson going to do? He's on the list.
They're doing something.
Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley. You know? I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? Dennis Rodman, what are you doing?
Yeah, they're doing something. That's what I do know. But with that said, though, I mean, the Knicks are finally starting to play well. They've won 8 of their last 9 games. So, they're starting to get some momentum and play well. I knew it was going to take a little while for them to integrate into Mike Brown's system. Seems like they're getting it. The issues are still the issues. Defense, your 2 top offensive players and Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns aren't great on that side of the ball, especially Cat, who drives me fucking crazy. But they're starting to play a lot better. We know the East isn't as strong. They're obviously, they're number 5 right now in the power rankings. They're a contender to win the East. They're playing a lot better. So if they can stay healthy, Josh Hart's starting to get his rhythm and play good. The Landry Shamet, shout out to Landry Shamet, who I ran into twice in New York this last weekend, shopping with his girl, was playing great, man. And they just need more shooting. So he's going to be out for a while, but once he comes back,
he give you some buckets, man.
He was playing great, bro. He was playing great. He was playing really, really well right before he got hurt. Some of the best ball in his career, actually, playing good in that system, and then popped his shoulder out. So if they can get him back, and we'll see. We'll see. But Desmond Bane thing was funny as hell.
So good. So I want to talk about my guy, Pat Spence. Shout out Pat.
The accountant. I mean, the CPA.
He's in there with Gillespie and Grayson Allen. They could do your taxes. They could have a contest to see who could do them faster. But this dude, a little quick background on him. Played lacrosse. He's also 29, which I didn't know, which is crazy.
Damn, is he really? I thought he was younger than that.
Nah, he has his younger brother plays for the Grizzlies. And if you saw the clip where he was told Kevin Durant he was his worst nightmare. So he played lacrosse at which is a big Northeast thing. You have like Hopkins, he played at Loyola of Maryland, right? He won a championship. He won their equivalent of the Heisman, whatever the best player in college lacrosse is. I don't know what their league is. He got the number 1 pick. Number 1 pick after winning the Heisman, after winning a chip. And what does he do? He goes, I still have a year left of college eligibility. I'm going to go hoop at Northwestern. I think he averaged like 12 and 5 and 4 or something like that. Led the team in assists and steals. And didn't get drafted, went and played in Germany. I forget what team it was. And then he played for the Wizards G League team, and then he played for the Santa Cruz Warriors. We saw a little bit of him last year, and he plays in spurts. What he does is he doesn't do anything stupid, ever. He's like, he doesn't force, he lets the game come to him, which with Jonathan Kuminga and Podziemski, that's all they do is force it. Steve Kerr even said, like, if this dude would pass the ball and play in the system, he'd be fine. But he wants to handle the ball and shoot floaters and all the stuff. So that's the story of him. He comes in. They play at Atlanta with no Steph, no Jimmy, no Draymond. I think Kuminga started that game and scored 4 points. He was awful. And there was no Horford. Seth Curry couldn't play that game. He played the next one, I think. Or maybe Seth played that game. I forget. But anyways, they're playing nobody, right? It's crazy. Pat Spencer has a career high. Or in that game, he had 12, 5, and 6. Also hit the game-winning, essentially game-icing free throws, waving to the fans. See you later. You guys can leave now. Dude's wild, man. Plays really well. He was plus 20 in that game.
Crazy. And for those that don't know, like, he's a modest-looking guy, and Matt and I were at a game. I don't know if you remember this, Matt, but he wasn't playing. He was in street clothes, and he was walking out of the tunnel. And the team was already, on the bench getting ready for the game. And he was walking out of the tunnel to come onto the court, and security stopped him. And, you can't be on the court. He's like, I'm on the team. And Steph was dying. Steph was dying. He had a sweatsuit on. The security stopped him. Like, you can't come on, you can't sit over.
Yeah, that was opening night.
Steph was fucking crying. It was so funny. We knew who he was, but security's like, this guy obviously isn't a player. Why is he trying to come over to where the bench is? And Steph was like, had tears in his eyes. It was so funny. But, you got a guy that kind of looks like that, like your everyday guy that could do your taxes and come out and just give you buckets. But that's a pretty remarkable story, man. Being that high level of a lacrosse player, and then, saying, hey, I want to
lacrosse
try basketball.
And then
yeah, and then start, kind of from the bottom, not from the bottom, but playing D1 and then going overseas to play, then playing in the G League and doing all this stuff. And it's just
he's not big, he's not fast, he's not super athletic. He's athletic, but he's not jumping out of the gym. I mean, he drives the ball, lays it up, uses the glass, shoot open jump shots. He's hit some. I think he hit a hook shot runner on, I think, Randall last year in the playoffs. It was nasty, and he ran down the court like this.
Yeah.
But what he did was, in the game that he had 19, he looked at the Warriors bench after hitting his second three and goes, "Y'all going to pay me." He's still on a two-way contract, right?
Yeah.
He's not getting any money, so he said, "Y'all are going to pay me." And supposedly he might get fined for that, but he's not wrong. And then he said, "I'm that motherfucker," right?
Mm-hmm.
He's saying that, and like at the post-game press conference, Steve Kerr was like, "So today I learned that Pat Spencer is that motherfucker." Oh man! So they're gonna pay that dude.
You got to. Give me him over Pods all day.
Pods is a great site.
Yeah, give me him. Even when everybody gets healthy, we were talking about this. He should be getting tick on that team.
Yeah,
he's not an elite defender, but he's a willing defender, and he's solid offensively. Won't make a lot of mistakes. I like him.
I texted someone that knows a bunch of the Warriors players, and I was like, "Dude, Podziemski's trash." And he goes, "I'm on 4 group texts right now, and that's all we're talking about." And I was like, I take Pat Spence over him, and he's like, "You're not the only one." So yeah,
that means that's
there's somebody on that team somewhere that And Steve Kerr said he's going to play him with Steph and see what happens, because Steph should be back this Friday against Minnesota at home. They have like 5 days off with these cup games or whatever.
Right.
So crazy. Shout out Pat Spence, man. I want to see what happens. Obviously, he needs to get some PT. Pods needs to get traded. On that subject, they need to get rid of Pods. I don't care. It's like the same thing that if I was the GM of the Raiders, I would do to Pete Carroll is take Geno Smith away. Cut him, trade him. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Go away. They need to get rid of Pods. I don't want to see him anymore. And then
either.
With the highest odds on Polymarket, with the DNP, with no Steph or Draymond, your boy Jonathan Kuminga with an 82% odds of being traded this season, the highest odds on Polymarket for any player. And they're just diminishing his value. He can't be traded for another 5 weeks on January 15th. He's going to have no value by then. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
I don't know. We've talked about this. At the very least, you play him to get value because you're going to trade him. By you not playing him, it basically means that you're saying that you don't think he's good enough, but teams aren't getting a good enough look. And he can put up numbers. And he was your highest, for a while. Like you said, such a good trade asset and a trade piece. And to your point, by him barely playing, I think it's diminishing his trade value. You're going to get less for him. They need to trade him, though, because they're not playing him anyway. You got to get somebody that can come in that can contribute. Obviously, you don't think he can. So someone that can contribute, take some pressure off of Steph. I think you need somebody else who can, who can score, and an athletic, wing who can shoot and defend.
And maybe the message is we don't want to get him hurt and we're ready. So let us know what you'd like to give us.
Maybe.
Because he played the night before, 21 minutes, 4 points, gravesite, fucking goes to the wrong spots, turnovers, bad shots. He'll shoot a jump shot with 18 seconds on the shot clock. It's just
that's the issue, right? That's what Steve Kerr's not the
man. It's like, come on, man.
It's not his ability. It's not his ability or his skill. It's that he, from the neck up, the guy just isn't in the right spot. And with the Warriors, as complex as their offense is, if he's in the wrong spot, it fucks everything up for everybody, right? So Steve Kerr is looking at this guy like, I can't play you, as talented as you are. You need to be in the right area. You're messing it up. And, everything moves on a string in their offense. One person's out of whack. It messes everything up. So that's got to be what it is. But, hopefully I'll get something good for him that can come in and help Steph and those boys, right away. They don't need assets. They need people who can.
You trade. I saw one where it was, who was it? It wasn't Giannis. It was someone, and it was JK, Pods, and maybe Moody and picks. And that goes to speak real quick to Giannis, who's 70%, second most likely player to be traded. That locker room's kind of falling apart a little bit. I think he's obviously over it. I think he wanted to leave in the offseason. Obviously Middleton was cooked. They got Miles Turner, which he might as well be a trade target too. If you're going to trade Giannis, you might as well trade him.
Yep.
So we'll see. I don't know where Giannis goes. We have odds. He was the only player that actually had odds on where they were going. Not being traded, second highest at 33. Highest was Knicks at 34, which while I was looking at it, it moved from 32 to 34. So someone someone's betting some way it changed, but 34% Knicks, 10% Hawks, 7% Lakers, 6% Thunder, which would be crazy.
That'd be crazy. I would love to see him.
4% Rockets.
I would love to see him on the Knicks. Here's my thing:
because you have to trade Cat. What do you trade Cat and OG? I don't want to lose OG if I'm the Knicks, but you got to trade.
I don't either. And again, like they're starting to play well. Like, do you really want to like mess with that? I know it's Giannis. They're starting to play well, but if I'm Milwaukee too, I want picks. Like, I don't want players who are going to win me 40. I don't want players that are going to win me 40 games. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want very young assets and picks. Right? You want to take the playbook out of what the Thunder are doing. You don't want like OG and Cat. Like, what does that do for you? They'll win you some games. You're just going to be in purgatory. You're just kind of in limbo, right? I'd rather just tear the whole thing down at the studs and get picks, unless they're they want some expirings and and stuff like that. So
we use some unprotected first round picks for Giannis from a bad team,
of course. So the Knicks can get them, but I think they're going to have to get another team involved probably in order to make that happen. It would make sense. I love OG. I love the depth. You don't want to deplete it and just have a Brunson and Giannis situation, right?
I mean, it was kind of like when they were like, the Lakers are going to get Giannis, and I'm like, what are they going to do? Luka, Giannis, and Bronny are going to play threes. Like, they got to trade their whole team. They don't have enough resources for that. They'd have to trade everything, right?
We've looked at this. Look at the experiment with the Nets when you had Kyrie, Harden, and KD. Although there's some weird personalities and shit going on, like trying to be so top heavy doesn't work. We've seen it work. The blueprint is the damn OKC, the Thunder. You look at the balance of the Celtics when they won.
Young
Denver
Warriors. Yeah. Dude, like you have scorers, but you don't. It's not like obviously when KD came it was different, but before that and after that you have a star, another guy that borderline all-star, and then you just got depth and shooting and the right pieces for your system.
Right.
Better than like obviously you could put KD on any team, you could put Giannis on any team, but you know what I mean? It's like
I agree.
That's interesting. So based on Poly Market, he's either going to the Knicks or he's not going anywhere because 10% is the Hawks, right?
He's got to get out of He's got to get out of Milwaukee though. I'm sick of Giannis being in Milwaukee.
Dude, he doesn't want to.
You know what I mean?
Milwaukee, dude, he just saved Oreo for the first time like 3 years ago. Dude, he needs to go to
shit. You brought him a championship. You've been there. He needs to be in a bigger market. But the NBA is great, man. It's going to happen. We already this happened.
The NBA is going to force a trade. They need to put him in New York or Chicago because it needs to be LA, New York, or Chicago, right? And that's why they sent Luka. Yeah. They're like, Luka, you're going here. Shaq, you're going here.
Right.
That's what they do.
Right.
Next player.
It's better when big market teams are good.
Yeah. Next player, Anthony Davis, 60%. The one thing that I saw was a trade.
Detroit,
and it wasn't even anything meaningful because they have tons of picks and they could give you good young players. And if he went to Detroit and they were somehow healthy, they might be able to beat OKC.
Bro, yeah, with him. And if we know the whole thing with AD has always been health. Right now, they're starting to play better, but you're building around Cooper Flag. It's the future. They're 9-16. The guy can't stay healthy, so you're stunting Cooper Flag's development a little bit by having AD. I say you trade his ass, you get assets to try to build around Cooper, let Cooper kind of do his thing this year, take his lumps, and you build that way. So I think it makes sense for the Mavs to trade him. I think Detroit makes a ton of sense. I mean, if AD stays healthy, his defensive presence with him and Jalen Duren, and you got Cade, and if you can get a little bit of shooting in addition to him, oh my gosh, like Detroit, that's tough. And Ivy and those boys, that would be a really fun team, man. And Thompson, you know what I mean? Like that would be a squad that, to your point,
that would be one.
That would be one.
Anthony Davis has played 5 games this year. He had a 2-point game, and he's still averaging 20 and 10 in 5 games with a 2-point game.
That's crazy. So
I mean, he's going to give you 25 and 12 or whatever the hell he's going to give you. He's going to give you rim protection, defending. He's going to give you mid-range. He's going to give you post-game. He can hit some shots. I mean, he's
healthy, bro. He is a top 5. I'm telling you, a top 5 player. When he is healthy, he is so dynamic defensively and offensively. If you get him, I think you kind of put him on ice a little bit. Don't play him on back-to-backs. You just get him ready for the playoffs, and then slowly incorporate him into the system. And damn, that would be nasty. So I'd like to see him. I want the Knicks. I want the Knicks to win, but I'd like to see him in Detroit.
It would be nasty. I will say so. Everyone on Sacramento's for sale. Keon Ellis 34%, Sabonis 36%. They didn't say DeMar DeRozan, but you might as well trade him too. You have CJ at 32, Ja 30, which I mean, I don't know if anyone wants Ja, but they got to get rid of Ja.
God, yeah, they do.
Markkanen's been on the block for like 5 years, but he's at 28%. Trae Young 24%, LaMelo Ball 20%. Markkanen's a target. I mean, he's a beast, but I mean, who knows? It'll be interesting. We've got a little bit of time. You know, Kuminga's got till all these players that signed those late. Like, I don't exactly know what contract. They can't go till January 15th, which is challenging. So that's it, man. Those are the folks that could, most likely go somewhere. There's a lot of people that have a lot of impact that could. So I'm interested to see. We look at Rookie of the Year odds.
Ooh.
So I know you had mentioned Con Knipple. Obviously, he's hooping. Polymorph has Cooper Flag at 58%. Con Knipple 30%. So they're pretty much, it's either one of them. Because then you have Derek Queen was the first, I think, rookie with a 30-point triple-double. Or maybe the youngest, one of the 5 players below 20. VJ Edgecombe 4%, Derek Queen 6%, and Dylan Harper's 3%. So it's Cooper Flag or Knipple. Obviously, Knipple's had a better start. Cooper Flag's playing better now, and obviously with Anthony Davis back, the Mavericks are winning, which is challenging for Knipple because they're not winning.
Yeah.
So
not that one of the teams have winning records, and to your point, like Con Knipple, I mean, he's a dog, man. I love Con Knipple's game, man. He's averaging 18 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3.3 assists.
And he's shooting
40% from 3, 90% from the free throw line, 40%, 46% from the field.
So it's 40, 50, 90 almost.
Yep. Obviously, they're 7-17. It's tough when you're not winning. I think Cooper Flag's going to get more opportunities to put up points, especially if Anthony Davis is either going to be out.
He's also going to be on TV way more. He's also going to be on TV way more.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah. So, but Con Knipple, man, I'm going to go on a limb and say he wins Rookie of the Year. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of switch it up. I think Cooper Flag's the obvious choice for Rookie of the Year. But I love the way Dylan Harper's playing right now. He's so good. Like, if you watch him, like, he's not doing it with athleticism. Either hand, he gets in the lane. He's crafty. Not shooting the ball great. I think he's shooting like 28% from 3. But he is them getting him at number 2 to pair long term with Wemby. Dylan Harper is going to be a great fucking player. I mean, he is just he's balling out of his mind. I think that he is just so talented and just super skilled. If you watch him play, he's fun to watch, which in my estimation would make De'Aaron Fox obviously expendable at this point, and you can maybe get some assets and get some other things for De'Aaron Fox, which who knows? It doesn't seem like they're looking to move him. And Derek Queen, look, they were getting clowned for everything they gave up to go up and get Derek Queen.
Overall pick, man. The Suns took Malawach, who they don't even play. I think he might be in the G League now over him, and he's hooped.
That's great. Yeah, Derek Queen is so young. He's playing really, really well. So but the Pelicans should be selling everybody.
They got a lot of young guys too.
The older guys they
should get rid of Zion 1,000,000% if anyone will take him. And
yep.
Who knows? What I will say is shout out to Little Nemhard too. He's averaging like 10 points a game, shooting like 55% from the field. He was the best player in the G League game that I went to, where it was Bronny versus Cooper Flag. He was the best player by a lot in that game.
Good.
Right?
Yeah, he's solid.
He's a beast,
I like him.
bro. I mean, he's starting. I think over D'Lo.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
D'Lo is. I've had a love-hate with D'Lo in his game, man. When he was with the Lakers, it was all or nothing with that guy.
He can give you 30, or he can give you
30, or give you nothing, and probably doesn't give you much on the defensive end of the ball. So either he's winning the game for you, or you're screaming for the coach to get him out the fucking game. One of the 2. So
let's run through those power rankings that you had.
Let's do it. So at 1, and we can go through each team. OKC, 2 Denver, 3 Detroit, 4 Houston, and 5 Knicks. Those are the top 5. How do you feel about that?
I'm not arguing with that. You can't argue with OKC. You can't argue with Denver. You can't argue with Detroit, right? I mean,
and Houston's starting to play.
Houston's coming, right?
And their only weakness, really, bro, is turnovers. Their turnover percentage, man. They are 28th in the league in turnovers. And that's a big reflection of losing Fred VanVleet. Obviously, you got Reed Shepherd and Thompson. These guys are trying to do a lot to turn the ball over too damn much.
Yeah.
And the points off turnovers with their opponents is huge. If they tighten that up, they can score with anybody. They have some good defenders. I like I like Reek Shepard and his progression, and obviously you got Sengun, KD, Thompson. You got all these boys that can play. So they're starting to gel a little bit.
What's crazy is the Spurs are probably the closest team to the Knicks in the top 5. I can't argue with the Knicks the way they're playing, especially in the last couple weeks. Right behind the Spurs, bro, the Suns, man, they're 7 maybe or 8.
And we were talking crazy because we were like,
no
man,
Booker, really? No Dylan, no Jalen Green. He's played. I don't know. He's played 50 minutes this season.
It's wild, and y'all know that Matt lives in Phoenix, and Matt was like, I don't want to go see these guys play. They're going to be bad, but they've you've said it on this pod that they are funner to watch this year than they were last year when they had KD and Bradley Beal. Right, and those guys, right? It's just they're playing better together.
There's a culture there. Before it was broken. They enjoy it. I mean, Grayson pre-Bradley Beal like 2 years ago, right? And Colin Gillespie. I mean, this guy, I don't know. I mean, dude, he's hooping.
Crazy.
Villanova's hooping. Dylan Brooks must have. I don't know if he got a shooting coach or what, but his offensive game is way better than it's ever been. He's averaging like 22, 23 points, shooting a reasonable percentage. I mean, he's got a little bit of a layup package. He's shooting the ball. He's got some step backs. Like he worked on a lot of games. So shout out Dylan Brooks.
That's what Gil said. Gil said the exact same thing. So you can tell he worked a ton on his offensive game.
He just goes to catch. I've seen him catch a couple times in global and stuff.
It's a good spot.
It's great. I mean, I didn't, I just not what I guessed for Dylan Brooks just because of the team is kind of like a Draymond Green type. He must have worked on his game, man, because he was not ever giving anyone 23 points in any kind of regular scenario, whether it was in Memphis or Houston, didn't matter. Obviously, I've seen a lot of Memphis and Houston in the last 7 years since he's been around, obviously, because the Warriors, playing them in the playoffs every year, at least one of them. So not a lot of Dylan Brooks, man. If Dylan Brooks was doing that last year, the Warriors would have lost to the freaking Rockets, man. And Jalen Green might not be on the Suns, and KD might not be on the Rockets because they might have kept Jalen Green. Had they gone to the next round, maybe they beat Minnesota. I don't know. So,
So I'm not going to give Ishbia credit. This is probably by mistake.
You can't.
Of why they're good. He got lucky.
You can't.
But, I will say, they're playing extremely well.
Here's the rub, though.
Impressed me.
If Malawach doesn't work out, they don't have a real big man, and they have no pieces. Like, they have no picks. They have nothing. They've gotten rid of almost everything. So it'll be hard for them to be real contenders. They're exciting to watch, which is important. They're good. They probably make the playoffs. I mean, who are they beating?
You need Mark Williams to be good. Hopefully Malawach is getting some.
Who are they beating, dude? They're not beating Minnesota in a 7-game series. Maybe. I mean, I don't think so. They're going to beat the Warriors, the Lakers. They're not beating any of these teams. So they're not a real contender, although they're playing way better. And if they continue, if they finish at like a 6 seed or a 7 seed, this dude's winning Coach of the Year. He has to.
Yeah, he's doing a fucking fantastic
job. I don't know what he's doing,
man.
But he's a magician.
Malawach, look, is not uncommon for rookies to go and I guess cut their teeth in the G League and come back and become great players. He's young. You need Mark Williams to play great. He's got to.
Oso Ganaro's playing better too, and he's getting some minutes. He's hooping. I mean, Ryan Dunn's a beast, bro. Ryan Dunn's hooping too, man. And
if O'Neal can hit some shots, but look, anytime you have elite scorers like obviously Jalen Green and Booker, you can win games. And you got good perimeter defenders.
Great 3-point shooting. Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen, Colin Gillespie. Royce O'Neal's too, bro.
You got Dylan Brooks that can guard a team's best perimeter player. Right, and Colin Gillespie, who's been playing really well.
Man.
Dog, and you got Grayson Allen and these guys are going to play the right way and they're going to play hard. You can beat teams, man. So, the constructed, I thought they were going to be terrible, but I'll be real interested to see when they get healthy. Because when Jalen Green did play that 1 or 2 games, he was balling.
He dropped 30. So he was hitting step back saying, "I'm back." I mean,
he's talented as hell. So,
and he might be one of the best dressed players in the NBA because he's always got crazy swag.
He swagged out. Yep. Shout out to Jalen Green. Got to find out. Got to make sure he's going to see our, boy Ryan out there at guest list. I'm sure he's going to get us.
Bro, he's on the list for sure. He's on the guest list. He needs to be there. He's always on the guest list. So he needs to go check out Ryan in Scottsdale, Fashion Square. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, man, ran through all this, dude. I'm excited. We got fantasy playoffs. We got the NFL's heating up. There's a lot of freaking big games coming up. I mean, this Buffalo New England game's huge. Buffalo needs to.
That's gonna be fun.
Something. Drake May looks crazy. So, and obviously the NBA is starting to heat up too, man. So I'm excited. Thank you guys for listening. We're a little over 3,000 subscribers now, I think. Shout out to y'all. Keep it up. We appreciate it. Throw some things in the comments. Hit us with DM. Any topics you want us to do. Shit, we're out, man. That's another one.
Out. You can do a lot of things, Matt. One thing you can't do.
Can't teach taste, brother.
My guy.
Peace. Hey, shout out Kenny Pickett. Let's go Raiders.
Let's get it. Let's get it.